All right, all right. Well, hello, dear ones. We are SOTU, and this is SOTUesday for the 22nd day of November. And things seem to have been a little quieter this week. However, we would suggest to you that it is almost like a wave action, and that the oncoming wave of change is going to be even more dramatic and more telling than it has been up until this point. And so we would like to be able to give you a little perspective on the dynamics so that you might maintain a center even in the midst of all of this change. We have said to you over the past few weeks that you are reaching a crossroads where earthly humanity is going to decide its future. Earthly humanity is going to decide who is it that you are going to be. And we would like you to consider that within the dynamics of the paradigm that you exist in right now, that there seems to be literally no way to change the dynamics in a positive way. And we are here to tell you that that is not correct. In fact, you have changed the reality already. You either create your reality or you allow your reality. If you look at the dynamics of the past election, what would you say of the dynamics of those that were following the Democrats? Would you say that they created their reality or they allowed it? And we would suggest to you that they allowed it more than anything else. Why? Because you were going for the dynamics of the status quo. And even though you have been comfortable in the midst of your paradigm, it is a paradigm that has left behind more and more and more people the farther you have progressed. And so the dynamics of "are you sure" are often surrounded by the dynamics of fairness. What is a fair existence? And so many of you in your journeys are longing for peace, are longing for quiet, are longing for safety, are longing for security. And yet we would suggest to you that through the paradigm that you exist in, you are willing to stay within the dynamics of the status quo. And you know how much your country has mongered war. And you know how much your country has fomented conflict, and you know how your country has been responsible for many, many injustices, many, many unfairnesses, and many, many deaths. Dear ones, this is a dynamic of energy that as you build it up more and more and more, the repercussions of the dynamics are such that they cannot be avoided. And that is where you are at right now. Between now and the first of the year, many things are going to change. Many things are going to change. And they are going to change ultimately for the better, even though they may not look it on the surface. Rather than allow yourself to have knee-jerk reactions, we would wish you to understand that this is the dynamic that negative ego would have you follow. This is the dynamic of fear, the dynamic of division, the dynamic of competition and comparison. This is the dynamic that your negative ego, that the negative ego of the consensus reality would have you follow, because ultimately you will crash and you will burn and you will not wind up growing very much at all. Is this the reality that you wish for yourself? Or are you willing to begin to take responsibility, to begin to look at your personal reality with a certain objectivity, to begin to be in a place where you allow your mammalian brain, your reasoning mind, to create your reality? Because, dear ones, negative ego in conjunction with your wounded child, your raging adolescent, is keeping you in this place of belief creating behavior, belief creating behavior, behavior creating belief, behavior creating belief. It is a dynamic of self-fulfilling prophecy unless you are willing to break that chain of energy yourself. Now, we know that many of you that watch us regularly already know much of this. But we would have you share this information with others, even if it is not by turning people onto this video. Take this information and utilize it for yourself if you understand it. If you don't understand it, then we will work more and more over the coming months to clarify, to give you the tools necessary for you to change the reality in a most positive, most miraculous way. And it ultimately begins, dear one, with the statement that peace begins with enough for all. Now, rather than you go into a yeah, but this, or yeah, but that, or that couldn't happen because of this, or that couldn't happen because of that, we would have you just take a moment and imagine what your life could have been like if you had all of your basic needs met: food, water, shelter, healthcare, education. We call these things the big five. For if these things were provided on a minimal basis to everyone, you will change your world. Imagine who you could be if you could follow your dream. Imagine who you could be if you could be and pursue what you would wish. It is true freedom. It is true liberty. Earthly humanity is such that so many of you believe that you are evil at heart, but we would suggest to you that in your true nature you are connected. And in many ways you are still one energy, one species. Earthly humanity has been manipulated, has been taught that they are powerless, that you are powerless. But in fact, what has happened is you have been manipulated to forget how and why you create the reality that you do. You create your reality through your thoughts, your words, and your feelings. And most of you, the dynamics of your thoughts and words and feelings are built around the dynamic of either feeling less than others, or even worse, better than others. You are each and every one of you equal in the sense that you are each a spark of the divine. If you believe in the dynamic of time and you believe in a beginning, then you must believe in a divinity, no matter what that dynamic ultimately is. And it is that belief, that internal connection, because if you take the time and you take the energy and you look within yourself, you will find that spark of the divine. And that spark of the divine and that connection to others and that dynamic of oneness will carry you through the chaos. Stay objective, stay aware, and remember that you have the power to change everything if you wish. But you can only change things through a dynamic of growing to be more than you are right now. And that dynamic of growth is taking place and will continue to take place no matter how much kicking and screaming you do along the way. We love you all so very, very much. We will speak over the next coming weeks about more specifics around peace and around the Peace Genesis project that we are involved in promoting, projecting, presenting. We want you to understand that there are ways to change things. You just have to be willing. So, until Friday, our next conversations with SOTU, and if you wish to participate in that dynamic, please contact Adrienne at ampoword@gmail.com, and she will get you all signed up. You are required to have a Skype account, and if you have a Skype account, then you will be able to see us, and we will have a nice, interesting session on the day after Thanksgiving. It will make Black Friday a little brighter, let us say. We love you all so very, very much, and so until next week we close, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you joy. We do love you all so very, very much.